My name is Kelly. This is my home. Thank you all for being here. It's an honor to be hosting this gathering and have a little bit of time to share. My connection with the Star family. I was drawn to a gathering. My first gathering was Estes Park in 2000. I can't remember. Lily, when was Estes Park?
90s. November 96.
I think. Was it 96?
96 and 97.
Anyway, and I met Eagle and the Star family and first came across these 11:11 teachings. At the time, I was a single parent with two small children, and I had always I came into this world with a huge amount of empathy and very open and aware of the suffering of, first it began with the animal nations, and as I grew into a young woman, I began to realize that the whole earth was alive and that the trees were alive and that everything was alive, which seems so obvious now, but when you're kind of raised in this white culture, like to begin to understand that the trees have the same life as we do, and the earth, it was revelatory for me at the time. But as a young woman, I was really developing this dislike and hatred for humans, because I just saw how cruel we were and how much suffering we were causing on the planet. And meeting Eagle when I was just a young woman, shortly after I went on a vision quest, was a real turning point for me. So these star knowledge ways were kind of an opening into understanding that we do have a choice in how we live, that, as Emmanuella said, as Amanda said, that there are ways that we can heal the world, heal one another, heal our spirits, and at least be working for what is good and what is holy and what is right. And the way that I speak to that is, if it supports life, because I love life, I love the animals, I love this beautiful planet, I love the winds, I love children, I love what supports life and goodness and people to be healthy and happy. And so for me, that's how I describe goodness. And meeting Eagle was a second step for me on learning about the Red Road, which to me are the ways of Turtle Island. My ancestry is Celtic and from Wales and from England and from Scotland especially. And I have a great-great-grandfather, I don't know how many greats, but he stowed away as a young man at 17 on a boat he didn't want to be a miner. That's kind of what his destiny in Scotland would have been. And so he stowed away on a boat and came to the Americas, and he ended up being in the Civil War. And we have a photo, my mom has this big photo of him on her wall at home, and he was the first of our ancestors to come to Turtle Island. And I went to Scotland a few years ago, and it became very obvious to me that for whatever reason that my lineage needed to merge with this lineage. I still don't quite understand it all, but it was very intentional, it was very powerful, and it was a huge blessing. Eagle used to say that after 7 generations we become native to Turtle Island, that she adopts us as her own. And I used to think about that a lot. And it was so interesting. My mother, one day I was in the kitchen, and I had never really shared a lot of these teachings with her, just because it's never really been her path to be interested in the Red Road or these ceremonies. But one day it was like she was in a trance. We were just kind of working around each other in the kitchen, and she turned to me and said, "You are the 7th generation to be born here." Oh. And then she turned and just kept doing what she was doing. I was like, what the heck? Whoa. And from the time I was have been really fascinated by, well, 1820, somewhere around there, I first heard about the Rainbow Nations. And there are prophecies of the Rainbow Nations, which is basically speaking to all people who are coming together in service of spirit, humbling ourselves with the desire to align ourselves with the heart of Creator. And by my understanding, to begin to serve life once again. And I want to share this. Is a quote from Crazy Horse. Crazy Horse had a vision he shared with Sitting Bull during a pipe ceremony just days before he was murdered. He said, "Upon suffering beyond suffering, the Red Nation shall rise again, and it shall be a blessing for the sick world. A world filled with broken promises, selfishness, and separations. A world longing for light again. I see a time of 7 generations when all the colors of humankind will gather under the sacred tree of life, and the whole earth will become one circle again. In that day, there will be those among the Lakota who will carry knowledge and understanding of unity among all living things. And the young white ones will come to those of my people to ask for their wisdom. I salute the light within their eyes, where the whole universe dwells. For when you are at the center within you, and I am at that place within me, we are as one." Crazy Horse. So there are prophecies from a long time ago about all nations coming together. And I speak to this today because it just has come up recently for me. I'm doing a grad program right now in Denver, and as part of a project to build earth art, any kind of earth art we were to get to design for Confluence Park in Denver. And Confluence Park was an important winter grounds for some of the Arapaho people, and it was a gathering place in the summer. And as you can imagine, I mean, where 2 rivers come together, and how beautiful and how abundant it must have been. What good hunting there must have been, and camping and fishing.
Which tribe?
Well, the wintering grounds was the Arapaho people.
Arapaho,
There
I'm sorry,
were
I
other people, I'm sure,
Right.
you know.
Thank you.
And I built a lodge as I kept feeling like I wanted to honor the spirit. And it was also Indigenous Peoples Day, a day that we went down to Confluence Park and were told design some earth art for the space. And I just kept thinking about Eagle, and I kept thinking about the people who had been there. And so anyway, part of my art was to build a lodge, and I had been taught by Sherwyn, and a lot of us here have gotten to help build these lodges. And it just felt really good to me. But when I had the art on the wall, one of the teachers who came to kind of look at our work, it was kind of a critique, and he started talking to me about, you know, cultural appropriation, and did I have a right to build this lodge? And it was fine. I mean, he was trying, I guess, to, you know, make sure that I was being respectful. But it just, you know, it's something that since my 20s, even when I first met Eagle and used to go to South Dakota, there were a lot of the people up there who didn't want the white people to come or to partake of the ceremony or to sing the songs or to Sundance. And I think I know a lot of us can relate to this. It was a dilemma for me because I wanted to have respect, but I was like, so if I'm a white person, is my only recourse of prayer to go sit in some freaking church somewhere and pray to some Christian God who means nothing to me? Like, my spirit is very much of Turtle Island and of the directions. And the only way that's ever made sense for me to pray is to go into that lodge with the elementals. And what I've come to understand is that it's all of the elements. It's the water, it's the fire, it's the earth, it's the air, the steam. It's like, that's alchemy. That's where we come together with all of the elements. and we pray and we do alchemy, you know. Eagle, I think, was really special to a lot of us because he acknowledged the rainbow path. And in fact, he said in the 1111 teachings, I am a chief of the rainbow nations. And he told us constantly, I was told in my lifetime, I was going to meet 144,000 souls. And he said, they're going to be all colors of the rainbow. And he said, I don't look at the color of your hair, the color of your eyes, the color of your skin. We have all been many nations as many times that we've lived as human beings on this earth. And I remember him saying more than once too, you were born in the tribe that you chose to come and help in this lifetime. So I just wanted to speak that right now because a lot of us are white, and yet we've been profoundly influenced by Eagle, by Sherwyn, by being among the indigenous people. And a lot of us, I think, have been shy. And he always used to say, everyone's chosen. There are not just a few who are chosen. Everyone is chosen. Everyone is called. You all stand up, speak your truth. You all are teachers. It's time to walk your talk over and over. And I think a lot of us were really shy, especially like, who am I as this white woman to stand up here and sing a Lakota song or talk about these altars? Like, I want to be respectful. And like, these are the only ways that have ever made sense to me, ever. So, yeah, anyway.
Oh, it reminds me of Rolling Thunder, who had a Meditante in Nevada. He was a Cherokee, and he was the indigenous band behind the Grateful Dead. You know, the whole family was Rolling Thunder. But just to mirror back to you, that, you know, we.
So, yeah. So anyway, just humbly acknowledging that there are so many people who have suffered and are continuing to suffer, red nations and red tribes all over this country, and that it's not enough just to acknowledge the people who have lived on this land that was stolen. It's time that we start giving that land fucking back. Like, I'm kind of tired of just these acknowledgements, like, this is the land of the Arapaho, this is the land of Cheyenne, this is the land of the Dene. That's not enough. But anyway, I'll get off my horse. So ceremony today, I thought I would share one of the star knowledge symbols and just share a really simple way of using it. And the symbol that I chose to share today is Wagmejowi, which is corn woman and the law of choice. And I'm hoping that a few of you women would be willing to join me in the circle and grab anything on here that speaks to you. And I'm going to read the teaching, and then we'll just do a simple ceremony. I chose this symbol because I'm recognizing that what I really want to do on this earth is regenerate land for the animal nations. Like, I love the animal nations, and that's really the only thing that makes sense to me, is to hold on to as much as there is and save and regenerate as much land as possible so that our incredible relatives don't suffer at our foolishness. Anyway, does anyone want to join me? I do. Great. So there's these wonderful things laid out. Anything that speaks to you, go ahead and grab it. So let's see. I don't know if the people can see this. Spiritual law of change. Yeah, can you just, so this is the symbol we'll be working with for those of you at home.
It's choice.
Oh, what did I say? Change. Sorry, spiritual law of choice. I chose this symbol because, one, because of its use, which I will soon explain, but two, because we were told in Lodge that the animal nations prayed through this symbol, that especially this symbol and these star knowledge ways would become known to the humans, so that we could begin to reclaim our sacredness and our stewardship, that we could move away from this misunderstanding that has us thinking that we have the right to control this planet, and move back into a kinship and an understanding of kinship. So what measure we? Corn woman, portals manifesting energy. My relations, I am corn woman. I am of the sisters Kachinas of the sacred mountains, known unto the peoples Hopi. This sacred law of choice is a most potent spiritual tool and reality, and this is why I have been chosen to bring this message to you. Your brothers and sisters, the corn people, do manifest that sacred light of our Father Sun and the nutrients of our Mother Earth into food for the nations. Universe has deemed this is the proper use of this spiritual law, to feed the people. We also utilize the sacred key to sanctify that pollen which is used in ceremony. People of the earth, you must call upon corn woman in order to have access to this sacred law. Your prayers must be pure prayers. They must be for the benefit of all. Through this law of choice, you may manifest any thought or desire into your reality. It will come quickly, and unless you are a master of that immaculate concept, the result will probably be something that you have not seen or foreseen. Therefore, let your prayer be single and your heart full of love if you choose to portal into your reality a gift from the beyond. There are many powerful uses of the sacred law to heal Mother Earth. We, the corn people, would have you focus upon these. Should you choose to call upon the force of universal love while invoking corn woman and this spiritual law with the intention of this love blessing our Mother Earth, a tremendous vortex of healing will immediately engulf you and your surrounding, purifying and blessing all of those nature beings which do dwell amongst you. Should you pray a prayer for the waters, call upon corn woman with the choice of sanctifying the streams, the lakes, the rivers, the oceans, and springs, that they are returned unto their original nature of purity. Then the very doorways of renewal will open within them. Should you choose for the immaculate light of our Father Sun while calling upon corn woman in the light of universe to purify the sacred breath of the skies, a great purifying energy from the very central sun will manifest the true heirs of life once more. These are but a few examples of the possible healing power that your choice through the sacred law can bring. Be certain that your choice is single, full of love, and is for the benefit of all. Be certain that you are in resonance with the choice of corn woman to provide for all the nations of life. The grandmothers that sit beyond the veils of time will draw from her knapsack the gifts that you have conceived, and, as if opening a blanket, the beauties of life will unfold around you. The nature peoples of earth cry out unto the galaxy that this understanding of the sacred law would be shared. The councils of light are watching human being and will pay very close attention, specifically to the use of this sacred law. So peoples, choose from your heart and manifest that glorious future which is your destiny. You can heal all of the wounds that have been created in Mother Earth. Then unity among the peoples, nations, and relations will be restored. The sacred tree of life will grow and give forth holy fruit once more. Peoples, your choice must be single. It must be pure. It must be love. The universe will bless you beyond your desires and unfold to you the reality of who you truly are. I am corn woman. Come to you this evening, O peoples. Receive the blessings of my nation, and when you partake of our gift unto you, know that our choice is the choice of eternal love. And so again, it was shared with us that the animal nations prayed that these symbols be brought to humanity, that we could begin to become good stewards, kind stewards once again, and remember our kinship with all beings. so this symbol, you can very simply, I know you guys have said the ways to activate these symbols are very easy. You can go out, and these symbols you can go out onto a construction site, or perhaps a river that's been mined, any land, anywhere that's been damaged, or even your favorite place that's in pretty good shape. Or we can go out onto the land and bless the earth and bless the elementals, bless the animal nations, and open portals of healing with these symbols. So they're like, remember way back they called it Reiki for the galactic citizens, and these symbols are tools for the rainbow warriors to be able to do our work. So very simply, we're going to do this here because we're on video. I thought maybe we'd do it outside, but usually I would do it out on the land somewhere. But
You could crack a window or a door.
we could do a crack a window in there. I mean, it'll reverberate everywhere. It's fine. So I guess the prayer, we're going to go ahead and activate this symbol, and I'm going to ask these beautiful sisters, then we can just kind of create this. I thought that those beads that you grabbed, we could put those as a circle around, and then any stones. I mean, you can get creative with your altars, whatever works. It can just be a marker. It can be, you can create these altars in stone or flowers or tobacco or whatever works for you. Seashells, whatever you have and whatever feels pertinent at the time. Pollen. But quite simply. And then I'm going to ask, is Amanda here?
She stepped out.
Yes. Okay. Well, and then we'll just quite simply share 3 songs. And if everybody, we can, the one other thing I want to share before, so Eagle, you've heard Eagle's name a lot today. And Sherwyn, they came and blessed his pipe boy, also known as Blue Star Eagle. He was Sherwyn's brother, and he was one of our Sundance chiefs as well. And the 4 years that I danced, he was one of our Sundance chiefs, and he was in the arbor with us all the time. And he was such an amazing human being as well. And just, he brought in all of the artwork. This is all Sherwyn's artwork. He was an incredibly gifted channel, and an artist and a dancer. And just a couple quick things I want to share that he shared with us. In the Sundance circle, he was always telling us, he was like, listen, before you come to Sundance, listen, watch the news, listen, pay attention to what people are telling you. He was like, you're bringing all of this to Sundance. He said, what we need to do is send love to all of those people and all those places in the world that really need it. So he said, about a war going on, you send love there. So that is the purpose of our being humans at this time, is just to anchor this love and send it out. He said, eventually, we won't need these chanupas. We won't need these altars. He said, we are a walking chanupa. We are a walking sacred tree. That's what those chakras are. We are the walking rainbows. That we humans are actually all of the altar that we need, but we like all of our tools and our allies and our friends, and the other thing that he shared with us about tobacco and asked those of us within the circles early on to share was that he said, so tobacco, the reason that it's used is because the spirits can read the tobacco. He said it's almost like a miniature, the way he was like, it's almost like a miniature tape recorder, that when you pray with tobacco in your hands, it's like somehow it is programmed into that tobacco, and that these spirits, when they come to look at your ties or to hear your prayers, they can read that tobacco. He said it just makes it stronger, your prayers stronger. And the other thing he said, anytime that you go, and he said, please share this, anytime that you ask of an elder a question or a favor, or ask them for ceremony or to interpret a dream, he said, offer them tobacco. Or when you go to the lodge with these guys, offer them tobacco, because 2 things, he said. 1, it protects them. He said, otherwise our elders are getting sick and dying because they're being asked so much, and they give and they give and they give, but if there's nothing being given back, then it's a one-way street and they get weaker and weaker. That tobacco is protection. And the other thing he said was that when you ask a question with tobacco, he said, basically, if you ask an elder a question without tobacco, they can just bullshit you all day long. And they are under no obligation to tell you the truth.
And they will.
And they do.
And they will. The tobacco, if they accept that tobacco, then he said, one of the ways he spoke that I understood was that it almost like calls in your higher self is then asking their higher self a question, and it brings in an element of there's a bit more responsibility there, and there's a bit more of a need for truth, and it just brings things to a different level.
Mhm.
So those were the teachings that he asked us to share very early on about tobacco, and why we put tobacco, and why we put it into the ties, and why we offer it as a gift when we go to lodge or ceremony or ask questions.
Thank you, because with tobacco, Dr. Artis talks about, as you ingest it, it fights parasites. And it rids parasites out of your system. It's an aid, because what happens is it, with what you get, infection by injection, whatever you get, the tobacco fills into cells, so the other items cannot get into the cells. So tobacco is a very important thing all of us should be consuming to be anti-COVID. And it's because it's a factor of getting into the cells instead of something foreign getting into your cell. It's tobacco. Does that make sense? It's a good filler to ingest and have as a filler in your system to fight off anything, because we want that in our cellular. Yeah.
Okay. So tobacco, one of the 7 sacred herbs of the Lakota and many other people. Yeah, actually the story of tobacco and the way that it's traveled from the Southlands all through the Americas and then over to Europe is a pretty fascinating story. It's an amazing plant. Okay, so quite simply then, to activate a symbol, you just draw it. I know Eagle used to like to use white sand for this in the lodges. White sand gathered, or sand gathered from termites or mold.
Molehills, yeah.
Yeah, or even ant holes.
Yeah, ant hills. are good.
Or from the white sands, like from New Mexico. And then you circle it. And in this case, I was going to use beads to circle it, but you can also draw it. There we go. There we go, nice little twist. You can hold on to your things, or you can add them to the circle, whatever feels right to you. There's lots of fun things here. We've done our little beautiful shells. And then quite simply you call upon the guardians of this symbol. In this case, Wagmejali, which is the earth symbol, is Corn Woman, whose message I shared. There's also Bright Light, is the Star Nation, a counselor of the galactic councils, that serves your region of our cosmos. And then the ascended master who came in to speak to this symbol is the Buddha of truth. And so the way to work with this symbol, activating, calling upon, and then making prayers. And as Corn Woman said, they need to be prayers of love. And so I'm going to ask that we just pray for healing for this Mother Earth today, for regeneration of the habitats all over Mother Earth, that the animal beings need to continue to live, that the birds, the mountain lions, the deer, whatever, the whales, just a regeneration of the habitats of all of our beautiful relations. Share this world with us. Purity of the waters and the air. And go ahead and pass this tobacco around, and then when we're done, maybe go outside and just offer it to the land or to the garden. And I'm going to ask for 3 songs to be shared. And I would love for any of you women who feel that you have a song. It can be any tradition. And if not, we can ask our brothers to join.
This is from my lineage, from my Dene lineage. And the song represents the cosmos and the earth. And this is the children's song that we sing in the morning. So it starts off slow and then it starts off faster. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya. 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 Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Hey ya, 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 hey ya. Hey ya, hey ya. So hey ya means spirit. We are calling in the spirit, and that song belongs to all of you now, because the songs that I learned from my culture, they don't belong to the people. They belong to the cosmos and the universe and the earth, and they ask that you sing it to them. Hosho, hosho, hosho.
I was in a circle of 150 women dancing a sacred ceremony in the forest of Kazakhstan. And we were walking through the gateway for peace for this earth. And each woman walked through with a prayer in her heart for her land, where she was from, where she lived. And we represented many, many countries. And as we all walked through this gateway, each of us would join in the circle of women walking together, and we were all singing this song. And I'll sing it the first round, and we can join in. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho.
Father, I feel you in the heat of the sun. One heart, one mind, the healing has begun. Hey ya,
Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ho.
brother, I see you in the eagle flies. Light of the spirit gonna take us higher. Is that a different song?
No,
It's- yeah, that's a beautiful song. Another song?
Can you sing the woman song?
Maybe.
Oh. I know it, but I know it in a different way.
Or
Yeah, strong woman song.
Strong woman, yeah, strong woman. I know it in a different way, so.
I'm trying to remember the beginning of it right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I have a section of the song I'd like to sing too.
Okay, why don't you go ahead while Emma gets
Okay, perfect.
herself together.
This song is a song that my dear friends created, and I sing it almost every day. Yeah, when you're thankful for the life that you live, there'll be no limit to the love you can give. And when you're thankful in your heart and your soul, you'll have a warmth inside that's greater than gold. Yeah. You're gonna sing that one.
Do you want to say it one more time?
Yeah, when you're thankful for the life that you live, there'll be no limit to the love you can give. And when you're thankful in your heart and your soul, you'll have a warmth inside that's greater than gold. Da-da-da-da. Ooh, yeah. Da-da-da-da. Ooh, yeah.
I love it. Thank you.
I will.
Keep plugging blue.
Woman song.
You have the other verse come in, I'm sorry. I just decided visually.
What? Or measuring. Be careful, she's a little bit nippy. I don't know. She's scared of him, so I just want to make sure that these people are keeping an eye out. I don't want her to snap at him. So. Thank you so much for this gathering of men and women and prayer for people. Thank you to all of our ancestors who carried these ways, who were willing to teach us, who continue to support us as we live as human beings on this earth today. Please help us to do good works. Help us to be strong in spirit and healthy in mind and body. Help us to share these teachings in the best possible way to those who need them or want them or would benefit from them. I pray that this rainbow circle will indeed come together, that humanity will indeed awaken to a kinder and more beautiful and more connected way of being on this earth, that we will become the gentle stewards of this earth and our relatives, that we are capable of being, that we will use our incredible capacity for creativity, love, and regeneration to be co-creators with the elementals, the nature spirits, the animal beings, the plant nations, all the incredible life on this planet with the spirit of Gaia herself. May we all weave something beautiful that we would want our children and ourselves to live in now and for many, many generations to come. Oyate, Star Nations, Kapipina Oyate, Ascended Masters, to all of our ancestors, to all of the earth spirits, Wopida. Please help us to walk in a good and holy way, and to be a blessing on the earth today and always.
Kelly.